All right, moving on to 37 7th Street, Winchester. 37 7th Street, Winchester, $235,000. We are three bed, two bath. It's a 1970s build. It's 7 years before 1978, so obviously we want to get our asbestos check done. And then moving on from there, we're just under a quarter an acre, 0.24 acres, 10,454 square feet, right? So 10,454 square feet, and then 1,680 of that square feet is livable space. Moving on to our marketing remarks, check out this charming, well-maintained, one-story brick ranch. So it's a brick ranch style house. Um, recent updates over the past 10 years include HVAC, roof, windows, water heater, appliances, oversized. Two-car garage provides ample indoor parking, additional off-street parking for two more vehicles on driveway. All right, so recent updates over the past 10 years, HVAC, new roof, well, HVAC, roof, windows, water heater, appliances. So that'll all, so in the seller's disclosure, I would identify what needs, like, what of these things has been replaced over the past 10 years? Like at what year variables these things have been replaced? Because if a roof has been replaced 10 years ago and the shelf life of a roof averages 10 to 15 years, considering some of the weather in Kentucky, considering some of what's taken place, I wouldn't want to, I'd look into that. Shelf life on HVAC systems is like in water heaters, yep, is somewhere around 10 to 15 years, 20 years, depending on, what make, model, installation. So obviously get all this stuff inspected. You can be a stickler with some things and maybe a little more loose about other things, like, the windows are likely going to be in good shape if they're 7 to 10 years old still. Like just take a look around at some stuff. Um, and appliances. If you have a 10-year-old washing machine, I mean, it just depends. I'd take a look at that, manufacturer's warranty, cost to replace, all that good stuff. So, you got to weigh the pros and the cons. All right, so let's see. Basements, let's see. And also, if you're paying $235,000, it's like, you know, let's make sure that things are going to be working. This is part of the not as is variable, right? Um, let's take a look at making sure that, like, if the water heater is 15 years old and it's an as is property, you don't have any room to negotiate. But if the water heater is 15 years old and it's not an as is, you got a little room to negotiate on some certain things. This is why we look at this kind of stuff, right? And that's just a small example. Basements, no basements. Garage features, let's see. Garage faces side, carport features no. Off-street parking slab. I like the fact that it's a slab foundation, heat pump, oven, range, refrigerator, washer, dryer, patio, porch, brick veneer, fireplace. Yes. Wood burning in the living room. Okay, cool. Um, Electric, heat pump, carpet, laminate, entrance foyer. Okay. All right, this is a 70s build, so let's take a look at the possibility. It's obviously we know pre-78, so it's gonna have some era, like 50-year-old charm to it. Like being a really long house for starters. And it has columns. So older builds tend to have those more often. Front porch columns. That's a well, they're not like, my bad. These aren't big columns, not like big columns, but if I recall, these are going to be you're going to tap on these and they're going to be hollow, but they still provide enough structural support to hold up The trellises, right? So inside of here are generally going to be trellises or a trellis that makes the patio, the covered patio. All right. I kind of wish the walkway, like, I kind of wish there was a walkway, unless I'm missing it, from here to the porch. But obviously, you pull in the garage or you park in the driveway, there's probably going to be a walk around the back, but it'd be nice if there was one this way. Um, yeah, it looks like you kind of got to go around, or unless you just walk across the yard, it's whatever. So, okay, I like that. Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's got some curb appeal to it. Looks like it's got a good solid roof. I don't know if the roof looks only a few years old. The gutters don't look like they're in bad shape. The shutters look solid. The brick looks fine. The concrete walkway in the patio looks solid. Gutters again look fine. Entryway, laminates, walls look fine. There's an arrow looking base charm right there. Chandelier looks like an arrow base charm. Front door's fine. It's got the storm door, looks 70s-ish. That's an interesting opening. I don't know why this reminds me of that 70s show. The cutout here, that's an arrow-based charm. Sometimes you'll see those like over here more in the kitchen, the little window thing. It's got it over here. It's okay. Uh, yeah, these are all right. Yeah. So, you could keep this wall or you could knock it out for more, whatever. But this is like this little separator is an arrow-based charm. Yeah, I like this. Let's see. I like the fireplace. Looks like it's composed of brick, like a painted brick carpet. Yeah, this looks like walking into a senior's home, honestly. So it's got some charm to it, certain era, etc., etc., etc. The layout, the way it's set up. Um, they moved the coffee table over. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. All right. I like the fireplace. It's got the mirror and the mantle, and it's more decorated. It's more decorated than I would normally see other fireplaces. It's got a nice flow to it. Popcorn ceiling. Got the 70s little the half wall with I call them spokes. This is definitely the room they want to highlight. All right, so in the some kind of a sitting some kind of a sitting room thing here. Looks like off of the kitchen there's a sitting room thing. So it looks like it's a home phone. I thought this was like a TV wall mount. So I was like, I don't see a TV in here. It doesn't look like the last inhabitant of this house maybe had a TV. That's a house phone with the cables wrapped up. So the flow to the kitchen's a little tight-ish, sort of. I don't know about tight. It's definitely a different layout. It's a 70s layout. You got the curtain over the back window there. Yeah, kind of looks like a older or a contractor grade cabinet countertop setup. Caddy corner countertop thing here. Huh. Looks like a Frigidaire. Looks like a Frigidaire glass top range. Also probably a Frigidaire and two different ears, right? Different colors. An Aero-based charm. Ceiling light. popcorn ceiling, and all that good stuff. I'm not really seeing it like I'm seeing era-based, a lot of era-based charms, but nothing that's like, like eh. Everybody's house is set up just a little bit differently based upon. This is probably either this is going to be the a double door open pantry or where they have their washer dryer. I would hope that that would be the pantry. Let's see. Huh. That is an interesting color scheme. And again, that's an era-based charm where you have probably probably a ceramic tub and turquoise checkered tile, which matches the turquoise toilet and the turquoise ceramic sink. So air-based charms for sure. And it looks like probably a contractor grade, era contractor grade countertop because the sink bowl is ceramic and it's separate from the countertop. Yeah, it's interesting. It's designer's choice. Looks like laminates. No, maybe that's tile. I think that's tile. Yeah, that's tile. Looks like something needs to be cleaned up in there. Is it tile? No, maybe that's laminate. Yeah. Huh. It fooled me for a minute. Looks like it's laminate. See how it kind of curves up against the tub there? So that's a laminate flooring in the bathroom. Yeah. Okay, another room, solid carpet. Another room, same room, different angle. Got the fold like they collapse in like this, right? Collapse in double-sided. Maybe that's a closet. I think that's a closet. Hmm. All right. Yeah, that's a closet because there's one in this room too. So it's got collapse open closets, the doorways. You need to redo the carpet in these rooms or clean them. I would be curious to see how much of this furniture stays with the house and how much of it goes. Maybe the primary bedroom. Yeah, that is very the woodwork between the bed frame, the dresser, probably the TV mount, TV stand thing, or another dresser. So that's yeah, that's handcrafted wood. They have to. There's a lot of work that goes into the handcrafting of that old style wood, especially the one where it's got the mirror in it. So, yep. my, my uncle's got this in his this is how my uncle's garage is set up, where you kind of go out, you keep the garage doors open, you got everything like lined out. Obviously it's the concrete has settled and cracked in a handful of places. It's perfectly fine. Um, yeah, 70s build, it makes perfect sense. You kind of open the garage doors and everything's cleanish, and you put a hangout table in the middle. And you can hang out and say hello to your neighbors. Hi, neighbor. So, all that good stuff. Yeah, looks like a little walkway around the back of the house. Maybe some outdoor patio furniture, perhaps. A couple of walkways in the back. So, yeah, a lot of era-based charm. There's some things that I would probably do to upgrade the house to my specifications, but overall, it's perfectly fun. I don't see anything in there that's like, what? Yeah. I'd be kind of curious again about I'd be kind of curious on the seller's disclosure about the 10 things in the past 10 years, new HVAC, roof, windows, water heater, and appliances. Like, uh, give me a rundown on the seller's disclosure of like what year the HVAC, what year the roof, what year the windows, what year the water heater and appliances, because any number of these things um, in the past 10 years is just a little bit vague, and I would want to know specific numbers for my warranties and like how soon before I have to replace A, B, C, and D. And thankfully, it's not an as-is property. So if any of these things is coming up on like I would say aging out, um, if any of these things is coming up on aging out, it's like, hey, let's work on this price a little bit because the HVAC system is 10 years old and the lifespan on an HVAC system is X, Y, and Z. Generally, HVAC is a lot longer than a water heater, um, and a roof is less as well. So, just get the ages of these things in the seller's disclosure. But overall, I'd say if everything else checks out and they're not too close to aging out, 235 is pretty solid for this place, I would have to say. I do like it. Let me see. I'd like to get a better picture of the backyard and its general distance from everything. All right, so it's 10 minutes from Walmart. It's like a minute or two from the center of town, right? And let's take a look at let's take a look at around the let's take a look at that backyard. Come on. Come on. Come on, Google. Show me your maps. Zoom in on that house. All right. Huh. I think based upon the property itself, it's a catty corner property. So you're going to get like half of this and half of that. So, eh, the back, I mean, it's more like you get front yard, side yard, and a little back. So it's like the backyard space is spread around the house. So the house is in the center of the plat, and it looks like, and this is just, prospectively, it looks like the house is in the center of the projected plat, and you get the area around the house. So it's like, okay, it's a compromise based on the area. It's like, I like the house. Okay, so yeah, 10 minutes from Walmart, a couple minutes from the center of town. So foundation, it's not in a flood zone. It's not sold as is, depending on the age of the roof, right? Depending on the age of the roof, and it's on a slab, and we can tell from some of the cracks in the garage that it's settled, right? So foundationally speaking, the property is settled. Concrete after 20 years settles. Then after that, it like doesn't move anymore. So I would, as part of a general inspection, I probably would be less worried about, especially on a slab. Brick and concrete, sometimes I'm curious if they're older than like 50 years and you don't see any of that settling. Um, because then you just, you're a little uncertain as to when and how it's going to affect the entire of the structure. But I always get the inspection. Tell your inspector, hey, curious about the foundation. Because it's on a slab, I'm less inclined to worry about it. Brick, I'm a little more. Well, yeah, block. I say block, brick, but it's block. Block, I'm a little more inclined to be curious about the structural stability of it. Um, and then after that, it's not in a flood zone. It's not sold as is. I'm curious about the age of the roof. And we know the distance from shopping schools in town is 10 minutes from Walmart, 2 minutes from the middle of town. So And your back, for me, backyard area is the entirety of, the house is in the center of the plat, and your yard is all around the house, right? So with that in mind, yeah, I don't see a problem with the property at all. It's 3 bed, 2 bath. Get you get your asbestos inspections done, confirm it's been encapsulated or is not an issue, because it's pre-78. And then from there, making sure that structure is good and everything else, yeah, I'd buy this place. I would buy it. I mean, I like the flow of the house overall. Um, and yeah, I would buy this to live in or as a rental property, either or. Um, yeah, I don't see a problem with it at all. So good deal. Moving on to the next property.